Everyone, in this video we are going to start making a game called Guess My Number Game, which basically asks the user to, well, guess a number. And if the user guesses a number too low than the desired number, well then, the program will say, your number is too low. Or if the user guesses a number too high, the program will say, your guess is too high. Now in this series, this Python series, I really want to stress doing projects. One thing for me is to output a lot of videos and teach a lot of videos about learning Python, but it might not be evidently clear how you apply or how you use these videos to make different projects. So although I do output and make videos with respect to learning concepts like functions, input, output, conditional statements, I think it's even better if we spend a lot of time doing projects with material we know, so you get an idea of just how little material you need to do something really cool and interesting. So this is my first attempt. It's going to be each project, what I call a project, is going to be multiple videos. Each one's going to start off with a planning phase, and then I'm going to implement it and go through it and see my reason as we go through the whole series. So this is a Guess My Number game. Like I mentioned, you're going to be brought to a screen, or we'll be dealing with our terminal or console output interface rather, and you're going to be asked to guess a number. You might guess a number and it might not work, and you're going to be saying higher or lower. That's your guess, and eventually if you get it, then hey, that's great for you. So let's start planning this app, and this application or game. And so I'm going to open Sublime Text here. I already made a folder for Guess My Number, and let me just do Control N or File, New File, or Command N, and create a little file here. But now I should probably save it, right? So I can File, Save, or Command S, and I'll just call it Planning. Let's see, can I go here to Planning? Wait, sorry. Actually, do a new file right here, so you can save it right in the folder. It's easier for you. There you go. Now we're brought to the folder, so we can do planning.txt. All right, and this is just going to be a text file. When I say txt, I mean it's not going to be running any code. It's just going to be our thoughts here. So planning. So before any project, I kind of like to think, what are going to be the big parts? What are going to be the big features of our application? So let's start out with the features. So what kind of features are we going to have in our planning? Well, for one, we need some way to guess a number, right? So we want to be able to guess a number. We could specify the range, maybe between 1 and 1,000, but this can change. Or maybe 1 in 100. Another feature we can do is actually we can expand this range and have like a difficulty. So we can have a difficulty here, and let's see. So maybe like an easy difficulty would be like 1 to 100. Medium could be 1 to 1,000. Hard could be, I don't know, 1 to 10,000. Really crazy. Right, so you have the ability to guess a number. Maybe you want like usernames, so different people playing. That'd be kind of cool. What about a leaderboard of sorts, like a leaderboard, right? Like, hey, you were able to guess a number in 2 tries. That would be kind of interesting. And these are very high level features that we're not talking about implementation yet. Just think of what features users could enjoy. How about an option to, like, once the game finishes, maybe like play again? That would be interesting. Right, let's think here. Maybe some like history of your guesses. So like after the game's over, you can see, oh, okay, well this is what you were guessing, and were you getting closer or colder, hotter or colder, right? History of guesses. While we're at it, we'll have like a number of guesses, which we can use to kind of create a leaderboard of sorts. And I think that these are the features. Hey, and if you guys think that there should be more features, well then add them to your list. And once we go through, this is what I'm going to kind of build for my feature list. Go through and add these to your own and comment. I'd love to see maybe you have any feature requests, and we can definitely tack on another video and do those features. So these are the features I get just by kind of thinking through it, right? I start with the user logs in. What do they want to see? Maybe they want to see usernames. They want to see a leaderboard. Maybe they get inspired and competitive. And then once the user starts playing, right? Like what are they going to be doing? Well, they're going to be guessing a number. Well, what's the difficulty? Maybe they have to select a difficulty. And then I start thinking, well, what's going to happen after they finish? Right? They want to see a leaderboard. They want like some metrics on how they did. Right. So these are high level features, and now we can start thinking about how are we going to do this, right? How are we? That's how I spell how are we? How are we going to do this, right? Well, for the first bullet point, we definitely need, and this is just a bulleted list to keep track of things that we might need. Well, we need like some input, like we mentioned in our input video. How are you going to guess the number, right? To guess the number, and to enter your username. I think username is one word. Okay. Difficulty, how are we going to handle difficulty? So difficulty. Well, how are we going to like keep track of whether it's easy, medium, or hard? Well, this could be like some variable, right? Like difficulty. How are we going to keep track of usernames? Well, we already talked about input. Leaderboard, and how are we going to keep track of who's on top and all the users? Well, we could have a list actually, and the list could represent like maybe the first element is the person on top of the leaderboard. The last person could be the person who's lowest on the leaderboard. Playing again, how are we going to do playing again, right? Once you finish your game, well, how do we restart? Maybe we can have some looping or conditional statements, right? Saying like, oh, okay, do you want to play again? Yes, and if yes, then we can restart it. History of guesses. Again, if we want to keep track of all the history of your guesses, we probably need a list. And the number of guesses, well, that could just be a variable, right? Like for each incorrect guess or each correct guess, we like increment a variable. So like what I like to do again is I like to go through all the features at a high level, and then at least take an initial stab at how are we going to turn these features into code, and we kind of have this outline here. So in the next video, we'll be able to kind of make a file and go through it and start coding this. Oh, and the final question we want to ask is should this be a file or idle, right? Which approach do we take? We should definitely take file here because say we have this file, we could send this to our friends or whomever, and then type in that Python console or in the terminal and say like Python guess my number game, and then they can play it. So file because it's easily exportable and other people can play it. So this is the planning phase. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments below, and we'll start making this thing next video. Looking forward to it.